Hello everyone, and thank you all for joining us today for the live quarterly product release webcast. My name is Rochelle Dorotheu, and I am the Marketing Specialist for LinkedIn Talent Solutions for Australia and New Zealand, based in the Sydney office. I'm thrilled to be joined by two of LinkedIn superstars, Yvonne Chow, who leads the product marketing efforts across Asia Pacific, and Ricardo Duran, who is one of our leading customer success managers. Yvonne and Ricardo will share with you today some of the exciting new features that we've recently launched through LinkedIn Talent Solutions products. Now more than ever, it's easier to find talent and contractors open to new opportunities. Before we get started, I have a couple of housekeeping items. You are all muted by default, so if you have any questions or comments you'd like to ask, please enter them into the Q&A or chat box on the right of your screen. The audio will be heard through your computer speakers, and most importantly, we will be sharing the slides and recording from today's session. And now, I'm pleased to hand it over to Yvonne to get us started.
Thank you, Rochelle, and welcome everyone to our Q2 QPR webinar. Since we'll be launching enhanced and new features every quarter, we've made it easier for you to keep track of past and current enhancements. All of our LinkedIn Talent Solutions product updates are now housed in one handy location. So you can visit lnkd.in/product updates for all of the information you need and to register for quarterly webcasts such as this one that you're attending today. Now, one big change is that we're launching in-product education to guide you to the changes within the product. So sometimes it's hard to see what exactly is new until you're using the product. So we now have a What's New button that will light up in the upper right-hand corner of Recruiter, especially when there are new feature releases, and this provides you with a quick snapshot of all of the newest features.
That's something that we've heard a lot of people ask for, and it's very useful to get this sort of information. And so recruiters will know what to expect and how to use these new features.
Yep, and for some of the top features, the customers will also be able to click on a button next to the feature to get a more detailed description, or watch a short video to describe how the product works. So we hope that this will help you even more when you learn while using Recruiter. Now, on to Ricardo.
Thank you, Yvonne. At LinkedIn, we unlock insights from the world's largest community of open professionals to empower businesses to efficiently target, attract, and convert the right talent. With this in mind, our Q2 quarterly product release focuses on enhanced tools and features that will do just that, with a new lead generation form, new media targeting, an enhanced jobs experience on mobile, powerful InMail analytics, and new search filters. So let's get ready for some big changes ahead. Now, on to our Q2 top releases. We mentioned earlier that our mission is to empower business to target, attract, and convert the right talent. Our new InMail analytics, enhanced jobs experience on mobile, and our new Today's Job Matches features are designed to help you convert and attract talent. So let's go ahead and take a deeper look at each one of those. So let's start InMail analytics. InMails enable you to reach out to your prospective talent, but we know that it can get a bit challenging when we don't receive responses or the candidates turn out to not be what we thought they were. We want to help you to understand what works with your InMails, and the new InMail Analytics report will allow you to analyze insights that will help you to improve your response rates. The new InMail Analytics report will help you get more insights into your InMail performance so you can target quality candidates more effectively and with the right message for that audience. By leveraging on these insights, you can increase your response rate by up to 30%. This report is very simple and easy to use, and the data is updated every few hours. You can utilize new insights to identify candidates who are more likely to respond and which templates have performed better historically. Ultimately, we hope that by having these insights in your toolkit, you can have a more strategic, data-driven conversations with your stakeholders. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like. As you can see here, just guide your eyes to the top of the screen. You'll be able to set the time period for which you want to measure your performance. And to the right of that, you'll be able to view or see when was the last update for the report. If you look at the middle of the screen where you can see the graph, this is a trending graph that will show your InMail response rate over the time period that you had actually selected. To the left of the graph, you'll be able to see your response rate. So in this particular example, we're getting a 53% response rate. But not only that, if you look at the bottom of the response rate, you'll be able to see what is the industry average in terms of response rate. So you can easily compare yourself to your industry peers. And on the far right-hand side, you'll be able to see information such as how many messages you have sent, how many that has been accepted, declined, or those that have yet to be responded to. Now, I want to introduce a feature that's actually one of my favorites. Within the InMail Analytics report as well, you're going to be able to gain insights for various segments to plan your future strategies. You're going to be able to see if candidates with a certain spotlight, for example, open to new opportunities, more likely to respond, or those at a certain company have a higher response rate. You can also access the relative performance of different templates. And the best part is that you don't need to have used these spotlights or filters to see these insights. You can also view the performance of other team members, collaborate and share strategies that are working, and this will work if the admin has turned on the ability to view reporting across all stakeholders. What early on is some early success. So what you can see here, Eric Yeager from Pandora, who recruits for engineers, says that your communication with the business is 1,000-fold better when you can sit down with leadership and come to them with real data. You're able to show them what's working and what's not. Our enhanced InMail analytics not only helps them make informed decisions about how to reach out to candidates, but also how to have more effective conversations with this leadership team. Over to you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Ricky. So, on to our next top release. It would be no surprise to everyone to say that more people are moving towards mobile devices as their primary device for the consumption of information.
Good point. Do you remember the last time you didn't have your mobile phone on you?
No, exactly. So our phones are with us almost everywhere and all the time. So just as in other industries, this is happening for job seekers too. We find that more job seekers are turning to their mobile devices to browse jobs. So what this means is that with the information readily available, it's now opened up the world of talent, and more people are open to browsing than they have been in the past. You think about it, in the past, if you were going to search for a job, you'd sit down at your desk, get into the job search mindset and start searching. But now, people can browse in between meetings or on their commute, at lunch. They don't really need to be sitting in front of a desk. We've seen that happen in our usage numbers as well. So we now have 20 million professionals who are viewing jobs every week, which is up 2x from 2015. And a larger percentage of those candidates are viewing on mobile. What you're seeing here is the daily mobile job users, and it's a complete up and to the right spike in terms of the people who are browsing jobs. So we now know that people are open and they're browsing more than they ever have. But the shift to mobile hasn't just enabled the open mindset. It's fundamentally shifted the way that people consume information. If you think about an open candidate browsing jobs casually, they're actually interacting with the jobs in brief, tiny little interaction moments, so not long extended sessions of sitting down or typing into a search bar and sifting through a ton of search results. So with information increasingly at our fingertips, consumers like us, and of course your candidates, do expect ease and relevance. So we have to change the way that we present information. You've probably seen other brands shift their user interface or their UI to align to this behavior on the mobile phone. So for example, Netflix, even though it's on a computer, they've moved to recommendations versus search because people are just more apt to browse curated recommendations. Same thing goes for Google News, the king of search. They've moved to showing cards versus actual search results. So for open talent, the search for jobs doesn't really work. People do want to browse and discover jobs, not search for them. And Ricardo will show us what kind of enhancements we've done for the job seekers.
Yes, definitely. So our quarterly product release also includes a new standalone tab on our mobile app to align to the behavior. This tab puts a standalone jobs portal front and center, so anytime a customer posts a job on LinkedIn, it's now featured on this standalone tab. In the past, we've had job recommendations throughout the LinkedIn newsfeed and email, but if a candidate was open to browsing, there wasn't really anywhere on mobile they could do so other than search. This is an easier way for open talent to browse and discover new jobs in the tiny moments where they might be open but not active. This has led to 50% more candidates viewing jobs. These are passive candidates who weren't viewing jobs in the past and aren't searching for jobs. This has enabled customers to take advantage of the way people discover and browse new jobs today. Because this has been a huge success, we started thinking about how can we further align with this browse on mobile behavior for open talent, where you have half a second and limited real estate to spark interest from qualified candidates. We're launching today's job matches at the end of this month or early June. Today's job matches give candidates a list of personally created top matches, calls out a few highlights that might spark interest from someone who could be persuaded to apply. We'll call out things like, you meet 10 out of the 15 required skills, or you know someone who works here. Tidbits of information that shows why someone should care about this job. And the coolest part of this is that it responds to real-time feedback from the user to improve the recommendation. So with a few quick taps, someone can either click to view the job or click, not for me. And we'll ask them why. Maybe it's too senior. Maybe it's not the right location. And we'll implement that feedback in real time to improve recommendations. This will be available to you now, or if you haven't seen this yet, in early May for those of early June for those of you who have iOS, and for Android users, this will be released later this summer. We expect this to have a similar impact on the number of people who view jobs and in our ability to direct the right candidates to jobs they're qualified for so that customers get more qualified leads. So with the emphasis on mobile, Yvonne's going to show you how you should be presenting your job description itself. Over to you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Ricardo. So before we move on, I wanted to leave you guys with a few tips about things that you can do today to better attract and convert talent in the era of mobile. So first and foremost, do remember how much real estate that you're actually working with. You're working with a tiny screen, about 5 inches or so. So be concise in your job descriptions and get to the point. However, that said, don't sacrifice on the job description. Make sure that in addition to the skills and the qualifications that you're looking for, that you also talk about the needs and the opportunities for the candidates. For example, the Aberdeen Group recently conducted a study that showed that job descriptions that focused on things like career opportunities and professional development yielded 3x the qualified leads. So this really reinforces the fact that your candidates want to hear why this is a great opportunity for them and not just what the job is supposed to do. Finally, be easy. Just make sure that you optimize your apply process for mobile, because the last thing you want is to get someone so close to applying and then have them drop out, which is what we see happen with 3 out of 4 candidates. All right, time for some additional updates. Our additional updates this quarter include an exciting new Open Candidates feature, which was very popular in Q1, called Open to Relocate, as well as more precise search filters and a filter for the years of graduation. So Ricardo will bring us through how that looks like on our platform.
Thank you, Yvonne. When members sign up for Open Candidates, they're not just telling us what they're interested in something new. They share all types of additional information about what they're interested in doing next and where. Now, when you perform a location search in Recruiter, you will not only see results who currently live in that location, but will also see open candidates who have told us that they'll be interested in moving to that location. This gives recruiters access to even more qualified candidates, even if they don't currently live in your area. As you can see here, the recruiter has performed a search for product managers in Sydney, Australia. The top result is actually a very qualified candidate who is currently based in San Francisco, but has expressed that they are open to move to Sydney. Recruiters have the option for selecting either those who are in the specified location by selecting current, or they can select current and preferred to include open candidates as well. We have modified the interface for 3 search filters: years of experience, years in current company, and years in current position. Recruiters can now very easily select the minimum and maximum number of years to see a visualization of candidates who meet those requirements. It is very easy to adjust the slider to broaden or focus the search as needed. In addition, this gives you more flexibility in your search, as well as a graphic distribution of your talent pool, which can be used to focus or broaden your search as needed.
Thank you, Ricardo. That was really insightful. So now we'd finally like to round off our webinar with updates on LinkedIn Recruiter and on Talent Media.
Earlier, when you wanted to search for candidates based on what year they graduated, you had to enter several pages of Boolean strings. With our new graduation filter, it allows you to find candidates who graduated within a certain time period in just a few clicks. Since search results are also displayed in a graph, you can easily adjust the slider to expand or decrease the talent pool. And personally, I'm glad we're making it easier to search intuitively, providing an option beyond Boolean strings, which will be very helpful to our clients, I believe. So let us go back to Yvonne, who will wrap some things up.
So a quick recap on recruitment ads and sponsored updates for our audience members who may not be familiar. Recruitment ads, or rec ads, you might hear your reps or your account managers saying that, and sponsored updates enable you to engage talent that you cannot reach anywhere else and who are most likely to respond. We'll show you examples here. The sponsored update in the orange box is from Flexis, and Flexis has sponsored an update with the following caption: "See why Flexis is rated one of the top 50 places to work." They've also included a picture of a company event. On the right side, they've used a recruitment ad to let Liz know that they're hiring for a senior product manager position. So these are two examples of a rec ad and a sponsored update. These relevant content and brand messaging can drive your targeted audiences to your jobs or your career or company page. These are excellent methods of attracting relevant candidates and, of course, growing your employer brand. Now, our rec ads and sponsored updates can be targeted to different users or audiences. So for our talent media buffs, get ready, because on the 2nd of June, we will be launching 2 new targeting facets for rec ads and sponsored updates. You can now target your ads and sponsored updates to your employees' first-degree connections, and you can reach your company followers. So this is especially powerful because your employees are already connected to the talent you may be looking to reach. We found that on average, about 20 to 35% of a company's new hires come from their employees' first-degree networks. Your company followers are also an engaged pipeline of talent. So we found that they are 3 times more likely to apply to your open opportunities. So you can now target your rec ads to them too. We've now built in the ability for recruiter admins to ensure optimal allocation of InMails across all seat holders. And we're doing that by helping you to set a maximum threshold for select or all users. Please note that they will be able to pick one maximum for all seat holders. Now, in addition, admins can also restrict bulk InMails to encourage sending more personalized messages. Now you can ensure that everyone is using their fair share and ensure sufficient personalization to elevate your talent brand. Right, last but not least, our lead generation forms or lead gen forms. So let me ask you, Ricardo, what are the challenges you currently face with collecting leads?
Sometimes I have events, or maybe in this case I do also have webinars and other gated content that I would like my target audience to access. But of course, I like to know who's interested in my content. And sometimes what I find really frustrating is getting people to fill out forms, especially on mobile.
Yeah, that's right. We were covering earlier that most people are on their phones nowadays.
Yep, and when you're on mobile, sometimes people don't fill out forms properly, so they drop off. And also additionally, we need something that's mobile optimized, and we also want data that's as accurate as possible.
Right. So with LinkedIn lead gen forms, we want to reduce the pain points that you've just articulated to help drive, event signups, for example. Make it easier for you to collect quality leads, especially on mobile, using the fields that are already pre-filled with member profile data.
Interesting. How does it work?
Well, a member clicks on the ad to engage with your content. So, for example, maybe an ebook download or a job fair event or a webinar sign up. So they'll then see a form that's been pre-filled with their name, their contact info, and info such as the company name, seniority, maybe the job title as well, and the geography. So as soon as the members hit submit, they'll see a thank you page, and that connects them to your gated content. So again, in this case, say your ebook, or it redirects them to a website or any other destination of your choice. Now, these lead information are then available for export into a .csv format or into your CRM.
Thank you, Yvonne. So this finishes up our coverage for Q2's LinkedIn Talent Solutions quarterly product release. All of these information, as well as our Q1 quarterly product releases, can be found at our product update page, which is lnkd.in/product updates. So let's go ahead and open the floor for some questions.
Thank you so much, Ricardo and Yvonne, for your wonderful presentation. But before we do open up the floor for some questions, we actually do have an appendix. So we're just going to let the slides run through and you guys can check it out. And then please send through the questions through the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. Thank you. Okay, great. So now that you have heard from our lovely presenters, Ricardo and Yvonne, and had a sneak peek at the appendix, we would like to open the floor to some questions. So if you do have any questions and have not sent them through already, please submit them through the Q&A box on the right-hand side of the slides on your console. Okay, Ricardo, so I'll pass it over to you to get us started on some questions.
Thank you, Rochelle, so much. I can see the questions already flooding in. So let's go ahead and go into the Q&A session right away. So a couple of things that I've been seeing in the Q&A session is I'm seeing when will this be updated in particular countries. Well, I'm not able to say specifically when we're rolling out in certain countries. What I can really say is do expect a lot of these changes to be all rolled over to you by the end of this month. Right? Now, okay, I got a great question here, and it's about the graduation filter. So I hope you guys enjoyed how we are enabling you to actually scroll the number of years in the experience and also in the graduation filter in the current company. So the question in regards to the graduation filter, if a person gets their bachelor's degrees and they get their master's, for example, which graduation date will that filter pick up? So one of the great things about that filter is depending on the number of years that you set, you will be able to capture both of those dates, right? So I think that's one of the good things about the graduation filters, that regardless if they have multiple degrees, you'll be able to pick them out at certain areas. Okay. Got another question about on InMail Analytics. I got a question on InMail Analytics itself. And the InMail Analytics, exactly how can I use the spotlight? Or actually, do you actually need to use the spotlight to leverage the InMail Analytics? So as many of you know on the call, when you do a search on LinkedIn Recruiter, from your basic total results, you're able to use certain spotlights such as open to new opportunity, also who's engaged with your talent brand. Now, the great thing about the InMail Analytics is that you do not need to actually click on that particular spotlight and send an email from that particular spotlight itself. So, for example, I don't need to click on open to candidate spotlight and then send an email from there. As long as that person falls under any one of those spotlights, the InMail Analytics will reflect your response rate from there. So that's a great question on that. Just a clarification regarding jobs on mobile. Where can I find that again? So that's going to be on the LinkedIn.com mobile app. Right? And that is going to be something that you'll want to take a look at if you haven't seen it already. Right? Another question regarding InMail response rate. What is the average InMail response rate? Well, I can't say it for specific countries or regions because it could be a little bit different, but just think anywhere between 20 to 23% has some of that is good. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go back in here as well. Right. Are there any plans to improve the visualizations of the Search Insights section? So this is something we didn't go over in today's call, but Search Insights is one of the tools that you're able to use within Recruiter. And right now, I can't really say if we are looking to improve that feature or not, but you can always look out for the next quarterly product update to see if there is any new functions in to that regard. Okay. Another question regarding the graduation filter as well. When will we get the MBA filter, similar to the graduation filter? There is, so I'm wondering if your question is more, will there be an MBA-specific filter where it's a filter that shows all the MBAs? I haven't heard anything about that, but you do have another filter, which is the degree filter within your Recruiter account that you'll be able to leverage as well. So if you're looking for example, a Master's of Business Administration, you can type that in, and you'll be able to access that filter. Or if you're looking for someone with a bachelor's degrees, you'll be able to type in bachelor's and use select from the drop-down box as well. I got a question coming in regarding the option to, let me see if I can read this. Do we have an option to understand? Sorry, this question wasn't coming in clearly, so let me just go ahead and move on. Okay, this is a good question. So for lead generation, where can I find the lead? So when you're doing the lead generation, there will be a tool called Campaign Manager where all the leads will be collected. So whoever's running that campaign for your company, they will have access to that campaign tool itself. Okay, so I think those are some really relevant questions. And if I wasn't able to get into your questions today, please do feel free to reach out to your relationship manager or your customer success manager with any questions that you may have that I was unfortunately unable to get to. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. And let me go ahead and hand it over to Rochelle to close up the session.
Great. Thanks so much again, Ricardo and Yvonne, for this insightful webcast. And thank you all for joining us today. We do hope you enjoyed the content presented, and please keep an eye out over the coming days for an email which will have the recording and the presentation. Thanks again, guys, and we look forward to welcoming you to our future webcast. Bye.